The Bliss Business Podcast, the show about empathy, connection, and consciousness in business. Today's episode is brought to you by Zero Company, your paid search, social media, and programmatic ad experts.
Welcome back to the Bliss Business Podcast series, Marketing with Purpose. This is our quick podcast topic where we explore how to embed purpose into every level of your marketing. I'm Steven Sakach here with Tullio, Siragusa, and Maher. Hey, guys.
Hello.
It's good to be back, Ash. 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row.
All right. Today's episode is about how to create a purpose platform for your content marketing. So a foundation that lets every blog, social caption, and campaign carry more than just information. It carries meaning. So Ash, when we talk about purpose platform, what are we saying here?
Well, thank you, Steve. Well, what we're saying is a purpose platform is like, we're not talking about a piece of tech. It's a narrative foundation. It's the emotional and philosophical ground your brand stands on. Think of it as the why that every content effort is rooted in.
And that's exactly right. Instead of, think of it this way, instead of chasing like trending topics, which is very typical a lot of times in marketing, or pumping out generic blog posts, a purpose platform lets you build a cohesive message, one that creates memory and meaning over time. It's kind of like a soap opera. You know, you watch the series and it builds on it. It's similar to this idea of storytelling that has a thread to it that's purposeful.
Yeah, I like that differentiation with like meaning over time, because if you are chasing that trending topic or whatever, that one's going to stand out a few years from now. Like, what was that about? You know, where it just didn't jive with the rest of your foundation. So this is what makes your content feel intentional. So not random acts of marketing, but a steady drumbeat of trust building stories aligned with your deeper mission. So why does this work better than a traditional content strategy?
Well, you know, Steve, being an SEO guy, a lot of content strategies will start with an SEO checklist, like keywords, competitive metric, competitive gap analysis. And that's fine, but it doesn't really answer the real question. Why would someone care about this information that they're reading? A lot of times people miss the mark. They're so focused on the keywords, not so much the message, the purpose.
Yeah, and you, instead of focusing on keyword stuffing, you actually focus on substance, right? And even if they click, for example, do they connect? You know, so maybe the very keywords will get you to click, but that doesn't mean it's going to convert or connect or leave lasting impressions. Whereas purpose-based content gets remembered. That's the goal. It's to make it memorable. It creates emotional stickiness. You may not even remember exactly what you read, but you remember the feeling. And it's that feeling that attracts you, that makes you want to go back, because it speaks to shared values, not just some product spec. So most likely people will read a product spec and forget it, but they get no feeling from that. But they might read something that resonates, that's a story that's deeply emotionally and purposeful. And they may not remember all those details either. So if you're going to take the risk of someone reading something and not remember it, at least do the one that's going to make them have a feeling that they will remember. Reading the product specs won't give them any feeling to remember. So
this is inviting your audience into a relationship, not just a funnel, right? And that's where your brand lives, is in this relationship. It's like the example we gave in our episode last week, if you remember, on Tony's Chocolonely, as we mentioned. If you go to their site, you see some very in-depth content around the chocolate industry and its exploitative labor practices. And you know, I'm going to spend some time on their site because of our shared values. And you kind of just go down this rabbit hole of education. And now suddenly we've kind of built this relationship that wasn't there before. So what makes a good purpose platform?
Well, Steve, there are 3 ingredients. Okay. And I took some notes on this. So first one is the clarity of belief. What truth or change does your brand stand for? Number 2, consistency of tone. Can people recognize your voice across different platforms? Number 3, the last one, commitment to narrative. Are you telling stories that reflect your purpose, not just promoting your offerings?
And that's the key thing. We've often heard about Don't just promote yourself over and over, educate, provide insight, let people think, stimulate thinking, stimulate engagement. And that's not going to come from just talking about yourself. That's going to come from talking about something meaningful that you actually care about, because you're trying to attract a community that also cares about those things. You actually don't need to attract them. There's a community out there already doing it. You're just pulling them towards you because now you resonate with them. So let's say your brand believes everyone deserves access to calm. That's a pretty cool thing to believe. I think we will appreciate the need to be calm. So your content might highlight your team's mental health policies, share tips for digital detoxes, feature customer stories about reclaiming peace. So that's not a content calendar. It's a content compass. And that's the key thing. It's not, on transactions, it's having a framework, a blueprint of where you're going, and versus a playbook. The playbook is kind of fixed, whereas a framework means you have a set of principles that are guiding you, but it's highlighting those principles in a way that resonates with people, that tells a story, and makes it meaningful for those who are reading it.
Yeah, I like that thought of content compass. I mean, I feel like that says it all, really. But so when you build content this way, you're not just informing, you're transforming. So you're changing how people see themselves and what's possible. Let's go into some real world examples here. Ash, kick us off here.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I did some research. One brand that stood out to me was this company called Headspace. Their purpose, I'm going to read this real quick. Their purpose is to make mental health accessible and stigma-free. You can see it in everything, from their animated explainer videos to their blog on mindfulness at work. Their content isn't about selling meditation. It's about normalizing mental wellness as a daily act of self-kindness. That's a very powerful message.
I love their stuff. I listen to the solfeggio sounds quite often. It's pretty impressive investments they've made into mental wellness. So another one is Lego. They're not just selling bricks. Their purpose is to inspire creativity and imagination. So their content highlights imaginative play, kids' creations, even adult Lego therapy sessions, right? I mean, here's an example.
Sounds relaxing to me. I want one of those right now.
I mean, here's an example of a product where you normally have a lifespan, right? Because it's catering to an age group. They've actually figured out how to make Legos fun for all ages, because it's you're getting something out of it. This idea of therapy, right? So the content lives with purpose. It's not just putting blocks together and creating something. It's tapping into creativity. It's also one of the reasons Roblox is so famous amongst kids and adults, because you're creating stuff and it's challenging your mind. And it's actually stimulating your thinking and logic, reasoning, and so on. So these are just beautiful examples of, having a product that has a purpose beyond the product itself. What can you do with it? What can you get out of it? What feeling can it give you? To think you could get peace of mind from playing Legos as an adult. Who would have thought that? But it's actually a very purposeful way to say, have fun, create something, be creative, and that's how you get a little peace. It's therapy.
I remember way back when we used to have a programmer, and he kept a little bucket of Legos on his desk, and I never saw him pull it out, but I know he did every now and then. It was just always there, so he probably pulled it out and get a little calm for a few minutes during the day, and then go back at it. So another example here is Red Bull. Red Bull transformed itself from an energy drink into kind of a media powerhouse by building a content platform around adventure, sport, and human potential. And their content arm, Red Bull Media House, produces documentaries, extreme sports events. You've seen these, high adrenaline videos, and even a print magazine called the Red Bulletin. So this platform isn't about, promoting energy drinks. It's about inviting audiences into a high performance mindset. So each piece of content reflects core brand values. So fearlessness, curiosity, action, and this is resulting in sort of this deep emotional resonance and loyalty. And we probably have all seen kind of those commercials, right? It's definitely got this feel to it.
Their whole strategy is genius. They are modeling the consumption of their product by actually participating, promoting, and actively doing those things where the product would get consumed, which means it's at their event you'd consume the product, or any similar event by someone else you would consume the product, because you associate the product with that lifestyle, so to speak. Brilliant way of showcasing consumption of a product by actually purposefully creating experiences for people to participate.
All right. So what are your next steps here? If you're ready to shift from content output to content with impact. So let's start here. Define your belief in one sentence. And if you need help here, go to aicmo.io, AI Chief Marketing Officer, and check out the Purpose Crafter tool there. This will kind of take you through an exercise that can help you define that purpose, give you a sentence, and then the tool will use that actually as kind of guide rails to help you keep your content aligned with the purpose, just like we're talking about here. So that'd be one way to do it. Audit your content. So, your existing content, what supports that belief that you have, and, what's just filler. So you can go back through it and say, okay, hey, how can we audit everything here according to our purpose? And commit to a few purpose-led themes that you can revisit often. So think of like empowerment or healing, access, creativity. Think of these overall themes that can be kind of like that North Star for you for different areas of your content.
And Steve, I completely agree. When your content aligns with your purpose, every post becomes a building block in your brand story, and that's how you move from awareness to infinity with all of your customers.
Exactly. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for joining us on the Bliss Business Podcast, and we'll see you next time on our Marketing with Purpose series. Keep building with intention, everyone.